from the betting capital of the world. Giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
Welcome back to the number one sportscast in the world, where we give full card predictions and a betting breakdown. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share this video as well. UFC 279, Chimaev versus Diaz. I'm looking forward to breaking down this card. But before we do that, let's go ahead and recap UFC Paris along with our picks.
And it's going to be a good time going over them because we won both of our bets for 2 units profit on the night. We broke our 3-week losing streak, our longest losing streak in our show's history at 3. We snapped that, got back on track with a win. And I got to say, shout out to my producer Martin for coming through, about the good vibes. And look at us, we won on that week. But it was a pretty good week. Our bets were really relatively easy, no sweats. We had Imavov parlayed with Whitaker to win both moneyline straight up. And Whitaker obviously, dominated Vettori after that first round. First round was close. You probably could have gave it to Vettori. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But after that, man, he just found his range. He looked like $1 million. Pretty much did what I thought I was going to do to Vettori. And then Imavov, dude, pretty much, he was fighting angry. I was surprised to see him fight like that with that much, emotion, you could say. And it almost cost him there in that third round. Buckley was swinging and banging in that third round. He didn't want to go down without a fight. And, Imavov held in there, showed his IQ and obviously avoided the knockout punch. And that was a good fight for sure. Happy for Imavov, and then just see where he goes from there. So we hit that bet for 1 unit profit, no sweat, like I said. And then we actually hit another parlay. We had Nurmagomedov minus 275 parlayed with the over on the Vettori and Whitaker fight. And, dude, Nurmagomedov absolutely blast Stolfus in that first round. I think about 15 seconds in that fight, front kick to the face. You love when you can win a bet and you don't have to worry about it. It just hits instantly like that. He should have been minus 400, minus 500. That was insane, dude. Super interested to see where he goes from here. He took a bunch of time off before that fight, so hope they get him back in there soon. And we, like I said, we parlayed that with Whitaker and Vettori over. And dude, once Vettori was eating those head kicks, showing that granite chin of his, I knew we were in there safe. Yeah, that was the cruise. Nice, 2 units profit on the week, man. We kept it small, and I think we might be that again this week. But it's a pay-per-view, so we do like to give out a lot of bets. And we do have a lock of the night bet for this week, a 5-unit bet. We'll get to that later. But yeah, super pumped to get into UFC 279 with my boy Martin. Let's do it.
First up on the card, in the welterweight division, Darian Weeks, 5-2, a minus 135, versus Yohan Lainesse, 8-1 at a plus 110.
I'll be honest, guys, I'm starting the night by picking the underdog. I'm going with Yohan here. Now, there's something against Darian Weeks. He's a good fighter, man, and he got kind of screwed so far in his early UFC career. He's 0-2 in the UFC, but, it's a funny situation he's had. He took the Barberena fight, his debut fight, on short notice, 2 weeks notice. And to know that he took that fight on 2 weeks short notice, and then the way he fought, that was impressive, man. Barberena's no slouch. He's good, bro. It was a competitive fight. Lost decision. Show he's very durable. And, after that, got Ian Gary. Ian Gary's going to be a good fighter, going to have a great career in the UFC. And, showed a good fight in that fight, too. He's not very much, so of a good striker or a good wrestler. He's pretty average everywhere. Whereas Yohan, to me, is obviously a really good striker. He got finished by Gabe Green, where moments before he got finished, he almost finished Gabe Green. Maybe another ref would have called that fight, but 1 or 2 strikes away from finishing Gabe Green. Gabe Green comes back and pulls off a crazy comeback, finishes Yohan. Now, the thing with Yohan is you really have to worry about his gas tank. He's never really had to show, he can be there in the third round and fight like he can in the first round. To me, it's one of those things where he just throws everything into his strikes and his punches. Now, he is a better striker, more dangerous striker in this fight, in my opinion. So does Weeks go out there and try to take him down, get this fight in the clinch and, slow the pace down on this fight, drag it out? I don't know. I don't know if you can trust him to do that, but I think that Yohan can clip him, man. Give me Yohan, the underdog, the better striker, better kicks. I don't know about, more volume, I'd say, too. So, yeah, give me Yohan as the underdog to start the night.
Next up in the strawweight division, Elise Reed, 5-2, a plus 135, fighting out of the United States, versus Melissa Super Melly Martinez, 7-0, undefeated fighter, minus 165, fighting out of Mexico City, Mexico.
I'm going with another underdog again. I'm going with Elise Reed. Now, when I did tape on Martinez, bro, I'll be honest. In her last fight, which was 2 years ago, by the way, she lost. I was shocked to see her get the decision there. I was like, whoa, dude, she's the type of fighter where great striker, you know, great, legit striking, but very minimal, very low-level ground game. It was one of those fights where if you can take her down one time, you could pretty much take her down for the whole round. Whereas Elise Reed has terrible takedown defense as well on her side, but she's more of a striker. And, you know, it's fought in the UFC more. Martinez making her UFC debut here. She looks small, dude, but it's so weird watching tape on her, dude. She had braces in her fights. Like, she's been fighting a pro since she was 19 years old. Pretty wild stuff out there in Mexico. But, yeah, man, I'm going with Elise Reed. I think that this is going to be a stand-up fight throughout the whole fight. I doubt either fighter is going to shoot a takedown here and pursue this on the mat. But yeah, man, I'm going to underdog. Give me Elise Reed, the girl with more UFC experience. The size, you know, is about the same. Martinez has good body kicks, good low kicks, you know, decent striking. But like I said, man, no ground game at all. And I doubt, you know, obviously Elise Reed is not going to go out here and take her down or some, like, repeatedly spam takedowns or anything like that. But I see that even the striking, you know, she's fought higher level fighters and is older, you know, more of a grown woman. So give me Elise Reed to pull the upset.
Next up, in the bantamweight division, we have Chad Ellinger, 12-5, a slight underdog at plus 140, fighting out of Canada, versus Heili Alateng, the Mongolian Knight, the slight favorite at minus 165, fighting out of China.
China.
And dude, I'm going with Heili Alateng here. Now I get it, man. Chad is good. Challenger is good, but dude, the age gap is something I can't get over, especially at this weight class. The way Chad fights, you know, good striker, good finisher. The guy can finish fights. You know, has power on the shots for sure. And in my opinion, probably a better striker overall than Heili here. Heili, you know, like I said, is younger, has a youth advantage on his side. You know, has more UFC level fights on, you know, his resume. He's fought better guys. But I will say, it's one of those things where I don't say obvious, but does Heili Alateng come out and wrestle? Does he go out there and think, you know, well, okay, this guy is a pretty, you know, powerful striker. You know, I don't want to, you know, get knocked out. Do I pursue a takedown, a clinch here? I don't know, because he's not that good at getting takedowns. He hasn't showed he's going to do that a lot in his fights. Whereas Chad, he's shown he can get taken down and controlled. But yeah, dude, he can finish, man. In his last fight, he finished his opponent in the third round after pretty much losing the whole fight. He has a good win over Brady Heistad, who actually just got his UFC debut booked. He's fighter on the Ultimate Fighter. And, you know, obviously won his Contender Series fight where he did get controlled for a little bit of that fight. I'm going with Heili Alateng here. I think he's a rightful favorite, but it's going to be a close fight, dude. So it's one of those fights where I'm interested to see how's Heili approach it. Like, what is his plan going into the fight? Because if he just stands there and bangs for 3 rounds, there's a chance he might get knocked out. But I don't think that Chad's going to do it here. He's 35, 36 years old. Heili's 30 in his prime. Give me Heili Alateng to either win or get a late finish here.
And in the featherweight division, we have Norma Dumont, the immortal, 7-2, minus 325, the moderate favorite, versus Danyelle Wolf. She's 1-0, plus 260, the moderate underdog.
She's also 39 years old and hasn't fought in 2 years. She's coming off the Contender Series fight where, in my opinion, she lost. So I was surprised to see her get the win in that fight. And, dude, she was rocked in that second round. So if you want to know anything about Wolf, you're probably looking at that and being like, what the hell? She's 1-0 fighting in the UFC. She was like a legit pro boxer, and she has a ton of amateur boxing experience. She's a great boxer. And she's, you know, someone that transferred to MMA later in her life. But, dude, she only has one MMA fight, pro MMA fight under her belt. But, you know, she's been working on, obviously, you would assume, her grappling. She's in some jiu-jitsu tournaments, I can tell from her IG. Since her last fight. But dude, she hasn't fought in 2 years. She's fighting Norma Dumont. Now, Norma Dumont is a pretty good average, you know, UFC fighter. She's not bad at all. She got knocked out by Megan Anderson, but dude, Megan Anderson has a huge height and reach advantage over a lot of people. Good striker, you know. And then she's coming off losing, where she has some pretty good UFC wins as well. She's fought higher level fighters, no doubt. She is coming off a loss, but this fight comes down to, does Dumont obviously pull a Lupe Godinez? Does she go out there and just choose to strike with a professional boxer here? Because obviously that would be dumb. Wolf is going to have a huge size and reach advantage here. Well, not huge, but she's going to have a pretty significant reach advantage here and height advantage. But dude, that age is insane. 39 years old fighting women's MMA, man. I don't know. I don't see how anyone can back her here, but I think that Dumont's going to take her down, finish the fight. one of those fights where I think that maybe just one takedown will be all you need in every round. So give me Dumont, and not gonna parlay here because dude, it's one of those, we saw that happen. It's one of those situations where you have someone that has an obvious game plan, just take her down. Dude, girl has one pro MMA fight. You're a pro UFC fighter, take her down. But you can't really bet on someone to stick to an obvious game plan like that. You're kind of risking her, sticking to that plan. Really, we saw Lupe Godinez do the exact same thing a few weeks ago against Angela Hill. So big red flag. So I'm not gonna bet on this fight. 1-800 gambler fight for me. I'm gonna sit back and probably a smoke break fight, honestly. Oh, but the pick is Dumont.
In the heavyweight division, Jake, the prototype Collier, 13-7, the moderate favorite at a -350, versus Chris Beast Boy Barnett, 22-8, the moderate underdog at a +285.
That's right, CBB. Beast Boy is fighting again versus Jake Collier. Now, Jake Collier, dude, we've seen him fight at middleweight, light heavyweight, and now heavyweight. He's just gotten progressively fatter throughout his career. But in my opinion, bro, he should be on a 4-fight winning streak. Against Carlos Felipe, I think he got screwed. And against Orlovsky, I think he got screwed. I actually had money on Andre that night, and I was super happy to win that because I felt dirty, I'll be honest, catching that ticket. But Jake Collier, dude, not a bad fighter, dude. Pretty quick, good striking. Can get guys down, I guess, if they're inferior fighters. Whereas Chris is just so small, man. He's 5'9" as a heavyweight, just huge, fat dude. Not very good reach, not very good striking. Has all right spinning head kicks because you got that win in the UFC highlight reel. We all know that crazy knockout where he does a front flip. But one of those fan favorite type guys. I know a lot of people out there are gonna be rooting for him. But dude, Jake Collier, I just think he'll be a bigger, better fighter. Like I said, should be on a 4-fight winning streak. And dude, but I will say, we talked about it last week. Gon and Tuivasa, for someone to be this big of a favorite in heavyweight in MMA, I don't know, man. Gon almost got knocked out in the second round. It got sweaty for anyone that didn't want to parlay. If you're parlaying Jake Collier, just know that it's heavyweight MMA. Anything can happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen in this fight. I don't think Barnett's gonna pull the upset because he's just so small, dude. Collier is only 6'1", but still, 5'9" heavyweights. Don't catch me betting on them. Not gonna touch this fight. As far as over/under, I think that Collier can get this done inside the distance, maybe under 1.5 rounds. But yeah, give me Jake Collier, maybe first or second round knockout.
In the middleweight division, we have Jamie, the Night Wolf Pickett, 13-7, the slight favorite at a -135, versus Denis Tiuliulin, 10-6, a near even at a +115.
I'm going with Jamie Pickett in this fight, but I don't feel too convicted either way. I don't feel like I have that strong of a read on how this fight's going to go because, in my opinion, both these fighters are more toward the average level of MMA versus like the good level of MMA. I don't see either of these guys sticking around in the UFC too much longer. But yeah, I'm going to go with Pickett. In my opinion, Pickett, when he looks good, he looks better. He has looked bad before. Obviously, been finished in the UFC before. We bet on him against him. We bet on Dawkins, and we bet on him against the Beverly Hills Ninja. But since then, obviously, beat Holmes. He's looked pretty good. Good striking, good fight IQ. In the fights that he does win. In the fights where he loses, man, he just doesn't look right. It's one of those fighters where he's up and down. I can't really get a good read on the guy. Whereas Tiuliulin, he's 10-6. He's got a ton of overseas experience. He's finishing fights where he's finishing bums. I think Pickett is better than most of the guys that Tiuliulin has fought. Maybe that's a stretch because there's overseas guys, but give me Pickett to win this fight. Like I said, don't feel good about this fight either way. So yeah, give me Pickett via decision.
Next up, and this is a catchweight at 220 pounds. We have Jailton Almeida, 16-2, a huge favorite at a -700 versus the Pleasure Man, 8-0, a heavy underdog at a +500.
Now, this fight is absolutely wild. We all know the Pleasure Man's taking this fight on short notice. Less than 2 weeks' notice, he's getting Jailton Almeida. Dude, Jailton Almeida looks like a straight force in the UFC. Pretty insane that he's fighting at heavyweight. This fight was supposed to be a heavyweight fight against Shamil. Shamil's a good fighter. I was going to pick Jailton in that fight as well. But now he's fighting at 220, a catchweight fight, like Martin said, in between light heavyweight and heavyweight, which I find interesting because Jailton obviously is a light heavyweight. He weighs in at like less than 205 pounds for his fights, around there for his light heavyweight fights. And now he's fighting a heavyweight, which I found super interesting. But dude, this guy has it all. It's super fast, striking, legit striking, good kicks, good punches, both fast punches. And dude, his ground game's insane. Now I get it, he's not fighting the best people in the UFC, but this is another sacrifice. This is one of 2 sacrifices that's going to happen on this card. Obviously the main event later. But as far as the Pleasure Man, we saw him on the Contender Series a month ago. So a little over a month ago he fought. So a quick turnaround for the guy, fighting a straight killer. But his base is more of wrestling, a ground game. super, competent on the ground. He got a ton of control time in his Dana White Contender Series fight. And he can finish fights there if if you find a guy that doesn't have as good ground game as him. But I think Jailton's going to work him on the ground. But I do think that his level, the Pleasure Man's level of ground game, should lend itself to maybe extend this fight over 1.5 rounds. So that finish, I think, will come in the second round. I don't know if Jailton's going to finish him in the first round. If he does, I'll be super impressed. But give me Jailton Almeida to finish this fight in the second round via ground and pound.
In the featherweight division, we have Mean Hakeem Dawodu, 13-2, and 1, the moderate favorite at a -225, versus Juicy J Julian Erosa, 27-9, the slight underdog at a +190.
Now, I have money on Mean Hakeem Dawodu here. I get it, this line is a bit wide, and Juicy J is live, dude. He's a live dog. He fights, and he doesn't fight in, like, technical battles. He doesn't go and pitter-patter exchange combos. He, like, makes fights like slugfest, like street fights. Whereas Mean Hakeem, he's more of a technical striker. Way better striker, in my opinion. Is more crisp striking. He throws in combinations better than J, in my opinion. But, dude, Juicy J, he can finish fights, man. And, like I said, man, the way he fights lends itself to like a dogfight type fight, whereas Mean Hakeem doesn't fight like that. But I will say, the way Mean Hakeem loses is, look at the Moswari Volia fight. He got controlled like, over and over again via takedowns. But dude, Moswari is a beast, and I think he's gonna be fighting for a belt in the future. So not bad look on Mean Hakeem's side. Zubaira, who I view as a good fighter. I think Zubaira had staffed that fight though. Yeah, his striking has really impressed me throughout his whole UFC career. I think he has really good striking, and I trust him to win this fight, man. Even though Juicy J will be the bigger fighter, guys, he's going to have a height and reach advantage over Dawodu here. I do think that the Dawodu is just more of a technically better striker. I think that this, it's weird because I think it's going to go over. I think Dawodu is going to win a decision here, but it's funny because he doesn't really finish fights, Dawodu, like, he hits hard. He has really good, like, striking and stuff, but, like, he doesn't really knock people out. Hasn't knocked out anyone, I think, in 5 years or something. Whereas Juicy J can, one, get knocked out, two, can't finish the fight himself. So it's one of those things where, what kind of fight do we get? I think we're gonna get a scrap of some sort of like dog fight where Mean Hakeem's gonna have to fight Juicy J's fight here. But I think that he can still win those types of fights. Even though obviously he has never had to do it in the UFC. I trust Mean Hakeem to have the better striking, to not fall into anything into Juicy J's game, and win a decision here, or even get a finish. I know he hasn't finished anyone recently or really ever, or I think one time in the UFC. But yeah, give me Mean Hakeem to win via decision.
First up on the main card, taking place in the light heavyweight division, Johnny Walker, 18-7, the slight underdog at a +155, versus Ion the Hulk Cutelaba, 16-7, and 1 at the slight favorite at a -185.
I'm super pumped for this face-off, dude. This face-off's gonna be wild. Johnny Walker is a madman, and Cutelaba is a real madman. As far as the fight goes, I'm surprised to see Cutelaba that wide of a favorite. But I get it, man. Johnny Walker is Fade City at this point, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, and his chin seems to be, leaving him here. Johnny Walker got absolutely slept by Jamal Hill, where he looked like he got hit so bad. He looked like those wavy people outside the car dealerships, bro. It was bad. It was kind of sad, honestly. And Thiago Santos, that fight, he pretty much lost. He had a chance to win late, but he got terrible cornering advice. I think he's still with SBG, and if he is, that's a bad sign because I don't think that gym is that good. And Cutelaba, on the other hand, we saw him get submitted by Ryan Spann, and I was kind of surprised to see that happen. I thought Cutelaba was going to obviously not get submitted there, especially along the cage the way it happened. Spann's a good fighter, but man, that was not a good loss to have. He has 2 losses to Magomed Ankalaev, where he got knocked out twice. Weird scenario where he had a rematch and get knocked out again. Beat Devin Clark, then has a split decision against Dustin Jacoby, which actually looks pretty good because, in my opinion, I rate Dustin Jacoby pretty good as a fighter. But, Cutelaba, he's a better wrestler than Johnny Walker. 100%. He can take Walker down and probably have the advantage on the ground 100% in this fight. As far as striking, dude, I actually think that Johnny Walker is live here, and I actually picked him to win this fight. I'm picking him to Johnny Walker because I think that, one, he's obviously going to be afraid to get knocked out. He got knocked out 6 months ago. But I think, I don't know, man. I think in a brawl, the guy with a longer reach, longer southpaw stance, like, I don't know, man. I just have a feeling that his stance and just the way the fight's going to play out, it's going to be a banger. And someone's going to get caught, man. I don't think it's going to go the distance. Obviously, if fight doesn't go the distance, it's going to be chalked heavily favored. Yeah, but, man, give me Johnny Walker to catch Cutelaba, man. I haven't been too impressed with Cutelaba, and I don't trust him here to stick to the game plan of just taking Walker down and getting him tired, finishing him on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Johnny Walker is live for a finish on the feet. So give me Johnny Walker to get back on track via knockout to start the pay-per-view.
Next up in the bantamweight division, Irene Aldana, 13-6, the moderate favorite at a -200 versus Macy Chiasson, 8-2, the slight underdog at a +170.
I'm going with Aldana here, but I don't feel too convicted either way. Chiasson will be the bigger fighter here. And it just comes down to, is Aldana going to be able to win the positions in the clinch along the cage? 100% Chiasson's going to try to get this fight along the cage and stall out the fight there. In my opinion, a big red flag, though, to me, was when I watched the Mariana Renault fight. She did get control on the mat there for a second. And that's bad because Renault is like 80,000 years old. Aldana's fought pretty good fighters, has a good pop on her shots. Was knocked out, obviously, Caitlin Vieira. That was a really good knockout to have on your resume. But yeah, dude, don't feel good about this fight. Not gonna lie, I don't know about smoke break fight, but because I'll be watching every fight, but definitely a fight where I don't care if I'm glued to the TV for. Give me Aldana via decision, over 1.5, over 2.5. Fight starts round 3. Yeah, give me Aldana via decision.
Next up, another catchweight taking place at 180 pounds. Kevin, the Trailblazer Holland, 23-7, the moderate favorite at a -215 versus Danyelle Rodriguez, also known on the street as D-Rod, 16-2, the slight underdog at a +180.
Now, I'll be honest, guys, I'm going with Kevin Holland here, and I think that price is fair. Minus 200, I don't know if I'll be betting him straight up or parlaying him here, but I do think that he's going to win the fight. Because I do think that this fight is going to be, taking place more so on the feet. I don't think that either fighters here are going to be pursuing the takedowns or the clinch. Even if it does, I think that Kevin Holland's going to be able to win those exchanges. Now, the way Kevin Holland's, been losing his fights is, to grapplers, high-level grapplers, high-level fighters in general. And I don't think D-Rod's going to be doing that here. I don't think he has one takedown in the UFC. But yeah, he's been chinned before, but he's shown that he can get back up. Almost been knocked out before. He's had a pretty good UFC run, man. Sent Kevin Lee out to Eagle FC after he beat him. But that was an easy win, man. Kevin Lee is super undersized. He's not that good at that point in his career. Daniel Rodriguez is a dog, man. Hard to put away. I think that this is going to go over 2.5 rounds. Both guys are super durable. Kevin Holland, though, is just going to have a big reach advantage and size advantage in this fight, where I think that's going to play, a factor here. He's a rangier fighter. He needs to be able to use low kicks. And I'll be honest, guys, dude, Daniel Rodriguez's shins are super skinny. I've met the guy a couple times at the gym. Super cool guy. Follow him on Instagram and stuff, but like, I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised how small he was, or short. But a lot of fighters are short. I'm 6'2", but yeah, I think Kevin Holland's gonna be able to use his size to his advantage, especially in this fight. But I think it's gonna go all the way to the cards. So give me Kevin Holland via decision here, and I think I might be betting him on a parlay. We'll see.
In the co-main event, taking place in the welterweight division, Li Jingliang, 19-7, the moderate favorite at a -265. Fighting out of China. Fighting the return from El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson, 25-7, the moderate underdog at a +225.
Now, yeah, guys, you heard that right. Tony Ferguson is fighting the Leech at welterweight. I was, shocked to have this fight get booked and, to really see like the odds on this fight, because I think that the Leech should be a huge favorite. Right now, the Leech could be had anywhere between -270 and -300, 310 at some books. And I think that's, rightfully so. Obviously, we all know Tony Ferguson's a lightweight legend, had a crazy, a crazy winning streak, and all those fights in a row where and then he just immediately went black and white and fucked himself against Justin Gaethje, when, in my opinion, it all started when he did those 2 weight cuts in that 1 month against Justin Gaethje. And ever since then, man, he's lost every single fight. Gaethje's beat him. Obviously, Darius, Oliveira, Chandler. And that Chandler one was really shocking, man. To see him get front kicked like that and they knocked out, I don't think anyone in the world expected that. One of the most spectacular things I've ever seen in the UFC. Where on the other hand, we have Leech. And, other than the Hazard Chimaev fight, he's looked pretty good in the UFC. Smart Santonibio is, hard, get out of there. Has some pretty good wins, and overall is a more natural, bigger guy. He's a younger guy, Tony Ferguson. He's obviously losing 4 fights in a row, going up a weight class at 38 years old. I'm just saying, man, that's a huge red flag. Like, what more do you want? Like, it's hard for me to see any path to victory for Tony Ferguson here. Is he going to piece up the Leech for 15 minutes here? I don't think so. All he has to do is win 10 minutes, but still, I don't think he's going to win 10 minutes. He's going to be able to win the clinch, get him, be the strong guy in the clinch, and get him down. I don't think so either. Dude, guys, he's old. It really comes down to he's old, he's fading, he's pretty much washed. Get him out of the dryer or do something, because this guy's done. Give me the Leech to not finish, but pretty much win a dominant decision, 3-round decision over Tony Ferguson. and I don't think he's gonna be in danger at any point in this fight. Maybe the elbows inside close from Ferguson, but yeah, maybe he looks good early. You know, he's out there with Jackson week now, but in my opinion, that doesn't really mean much. They're not that good of a camp in my opinion anymore. But I will say this: for as much as everyone wants to say he's really old, he only has a 4-year age difference between him and the Leech, and he does have a reach advantage over the Leech. So he has that going for him at least. I do think that he's gonna get put out here, and who knows, we might see him retire. But I don't think so. I think that he's gonna be fighting for a while. So give me the Leech, man. Unanimous decision.
Now, you know how I feel about Tony Ferguson right now. I feel like I'm that one guy that's had that one car for 20 years and swears it's still faster than the day it's gone out. And I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and you best believe I'm taking Tony Ferguson.
Oh wow, really?
And yeah. He's washed up. You know, it's time for him to retire. It's time to give him that Donald Cerrone talk. That's what we're gonna call it. It's time for the Donald Cerrone talk, okay? But I think he's got some fight left in him. And
I do
not
too.
only I think he's got some fight left in him. I think that's the key for him to win is can he outbang the Leech? Possibly. A good way to take him would be either submission or via decision. You know, my strongest bet would be Tony Ferguson via submission.
Dude.
And, you know, that's how I'm gonna take this fight.
Dude, he has a sick Darce, man. Everyone knows his signature move, that Tony Ferguson Darce choke, man. He's legit on the ground, no doubt. That submission, you know, it'll be live for sure. Well, I don't know, man. I don't see him getting taken down, but if he does, man, I'll credit to producer Martin for calling it. Well, dude, you said that it's time to give him the Donald Cerrone treatment. I'll be honest, dude. In Tony's defense, in his defense, he's been losing like the best guys, like Charles Oliveira, the champ, Justin Gaethje, you know, Kyle Chandler. They're just like, you know, on point, like these guys are really, really good. So like to just kick them off, to the curb and say like, thank you for the company and see you later.
White down.
That's a little messed up, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's like you said. I think he has that still more fights in him, but I don't think it's gonna be against top guys. I don't know. I will say this though: how weird is it that Tony Ferguson's actually fighting sooner than Michael Chandler, and Tony Ferguson's the one that got front kicked in the head, knocked out viciously. He's fighting 3 months like later. Come on, man. How many red flags do you need?
In the main event taking place in the welterweight division. The reason this is even a pay-per-view card in the first place. Up first, Khamzat Chimaev, 11-0, a huge favorite at a whopping minus 1,200 versus Nathan Diaz, 20-13, a huge underdog at a plus 725.
Give it up for Nate Diaz, guys. Give it up for Nate Diaz. It's over. It's over. He's going to get absolutely annihilated on Saturday. He's getting sacrificed by Dana White. This is dirty, bro. Dana White's like a dirty mob boss villain right here. So Nate Diaz wanted to get, his last fight on his contract done so he can go make more money fighting people like Jake Paul. Which, shout out to him. He's put in his time. He's an MMA legend. Obviously, he's not going to win any belts anytime soon. Let the guy do whatever. Let him get his money. He's a freaking legend. He's been in the company forever. But Dana White is like, you know what? Instead of making fights that make the most sense, like Conor McGregor trilogy or Dustin Poirier or Tony Ferguson, who's actually on the card, he decides to feed him to none other than Khamzat Chimaev, the Chechnyan wrestler, one of the most dangerous, prolific prospects you've seen in MMA. And I'm just floored that this fight got booked, man. So back a couple months ago, I remember being at work and my phone starts going crazy. This is like all these people blowing up. I'm like, what's going on? And that's when that little war room video of Dana White had leaked, where it's like a video, and in the corner it says Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz or N Diaz. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And it went crazy. And it's actually funny now that they have it all blurred every time he does interviews there. But yeah, dude. So this fight makes no sense, dude. They're clearly using Nate's last fight to promote Khamzat here. This has no bearing in like some sort of title fight. Like if Nate were to somehow get a fluke win, is he gonna fight for the belt? No, he's gonna go be a free agent. And man, yeah, skill level, the way the fight is actually gonna play out though, guys, if he has one win in the last 3 years, and it was against Anthony Pettis, 2 wins in the last 6 years against Conor McGregor. But I mean, dude, guys, Nate Diaz is looking so old, it's sad. Khamzat Chimaev is clearly a better striker, faster, younger, like everything, guys. There's a reason why it's minus 1,200, and honestly, that might be a little cheap. every single area this fight can play out, Khamzat will be safe. Even on the guys, obviously Nate's supposed to be like this good, jiu-jitsu player off his back, but even there, guys, he's gonna get absolutely crushed. I'll be honest, guys, I see Khamzat winning this fight in the first round or the second round, to a point where I think if it gets past the second round, I think he will get like looked upon as like a disgrace, like from where he's from, the part of the world. Like they will look at him like, bro, you really couldn't finish Nate Diaz like in 10 minutes? Like this guy can't even put 5 words together, let alone try the last 10 minutes in there. He was legit running away from Leon Edwards. And everyone wants to talk about that one punch in the 5th round where, I mean, come on, give me a break. He was getting his ass beat for 4 rounds. And not, let alone that, he was getting like out grappled. There's, moments in the Masvidal fight where he did get his ass kicked in that fight too, where he got out grappled, thrown on the ground in the clinch. Leon Edwards did the same. Like he was putting him down on the mat from the clinch along the cage. If Khamzat closes the difference, which I think he will, if Nate runs away, which I think he will, if you can cut him off, put him against the cage, either spark him there or shoot a takedown, get him down, do the thing where he picks him up and walks him over to Dana White. It's going to be all bad, dude. All bad, all bad, all bad. But I will say, I am pumped to be going to the press conference with my producer, Martin. We will be at the press conference interviewing fans.
Effie.
What's up, bro?
I didn't want to tell you this earlier, but
What's up?
I'm going to be busy on the 10th.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, and I'm surprised you don't know about it either.
Why?
You don't know about the 10th?
No,
It's
why?
a sad day for us. It's a service. Here's my invitation to you guys.
Oh, wow.
To the service of Nathan Diaz, September 10th. It's a sad day
Oh,
for
wow.
us in the MMA community. So it's a celebration of life on the 10th.
Yeah.
Happens to be taking
Yeah.
place
Wow.
same night.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I wish I could be there now. Yeah, for real. All facts. All facts. That's pretty much what's gonna happen on Saturday, dude. What do you think? How do you think the fight's gonna play out, bro?
No, look, jokes aside, I telling people, look, it's not going to be over early. It's
Oh.
not. Nathan Diaz is not going to this fight looking to win. He's not. He's going in this fight looking to survive and to prove that he can outlast what people are saying is the best thing that's ever come, since probably Conor McGregor as a rising star, as someone that has it all. So he's looking to keep his stocks up. He doesn't want to get knocked out. He doesn't want to get beat up. Because why would Jake Paul want to fight him? What value does Nate bring? Now, if Nate can hold off against it, if he could do what Gilbert did, then yeah, Jake would sure would love to box him again. But where does Nate go from here if he gets KO'd? I mean, nasty KO'd. Where does Nate go from here if he gets choked out? Where does he go? So he's got a lot to lose, and that's why I'm taking the best way for me to take it is I'm taking the over on this fight, and I'm taking Kazma decision.
Oh my God, you think it's gonna go 5 rounds, bro?
All 5, yeah, you're gonna see a real dog fight.
Oh.
And I'm not dotting Nate Diaz out. We're talking about the Stockton. You want to fight me, bro? You want to bang, bro?
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember those days for sure. But those days are long gone, dude. I will say this though, Nate does have a lot of like built-up scar tissue to where he can get cut easily. So I think that there's a live, chance that they're gonna get a doctor stoppage here, just like the Masvidal fight, where one punch, one elbow, and he's opened up bad. That's what I'm saying, man. I think this is gonna be ended early. Going against what my producer Martin said there, but give me Khamzat Chimaev round 1, TKO. Now it's time to get to our official picks for UFC 279. So far, we have 2 bets. Our first one's going to be a plus 105 parlay. Lee J. Leong and Hakeem Dawodu. Now, I think that both are going to dominate their fights. And, I think it's a pretty safe parlay. So we're going to go ahead and put 1.25 units on that bet. After that, guys, we're bringing back our 5-unit lock of the night play on Li Ji Liang. Minus 270, 5-unit play here. Now, I know we have a ton of exposure now. We have 6.25 units exposed on him alone, considering that if he loses, that parlay is busted as well. And obviously, we have the 5-unit bet here. But guys, Tony Ferguson's lost 4 in a row. He's 38 years old, going up a weight class. I just think that it's time. He's definitely not going to win this fight. He can't knock out or, I don't know about submit the leads here. But I feel safe about that lock. We are 11-4 in our 15 lock of the night plays. Looking to push 12 wins here. And yeah, that'll do it for our show, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. Let us know who you guys have in the comments. And I will say, shout out to Producer Morning, because that contest is still alive. If you can comment every single winner of the card in a row, consecutively, every single one, perfect card, we'll give you $50. Producer Martin will personally give you $50, Zelle you, Venmo you, wherever, if you can get every single fight right. So far, no one's done it, and it's going to be tough, man. I honestly think that's going to be not one for a long time. Pretty hard thing to do in UFC to get every single fight right. So yeah, it's gonna be a sick pay-per-view. Yeah, we went 10-2 last week, bro. We went 10-2. We got close. But 10-2 is not perfect. So yeah, I will say this last thing, guys. We will be at the press conference. Producer Martin and I will be at the press conference at UFC 279 on Thursday. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised, or not surprised. I'm anxious to see who will have the more fans. Because on one side, Hamza is like this fan favorite, like superstar, rising, guy. But dude, Nate is like a legend, and I really think for like 90% of the fans are gonna be Nate. And when we ask people like who you got, I think a lot of them are gonna be like, well, Hamza's gonna win, but I want Nate to win, or like I'm picking Nate, like fuck this guy. I think that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, man, I'm super pumped to get back into the the crowd, ask the fans what they got, who they're there for. That press conference should be fun. Kevin Holland's on it. So is D-Rod, and then Tony Ferguson and Elise. You know it's gonna be crazy. Tony Ferguson's always allowed to do something crazy. So yeah, man, I'm super pumped. It's a couple days away. Yeah, man, thanks for liking and subscribing the video. It's Any Action Sportscast. We'll see you next week. Peace.